Hey guys, first ever YouTube video here, so please do mind if this is like all crazy or anything. I do have years of experience on YouTube on my belt, but first time ever doing something like this. It's gonna kind of be like an uncut type of video, like mainly like a thing where I'm just gonna be talking. This is something that's close to me. I'm someone who has been a recent graduate. I would say like maybe close to a year and a half now, maybe close to almost 2 years now of being a post grad in game development. And I know that this may not apply to most of you, and most of you may even be laughing at me, like like in the sense of like, oh, you're a computer science master's or computer science bachelor's, and you're like, it's not as rough as me and stuff like that. I mean, to be honest, game development bachelor's is basically the same thing. We just don't have an exact, focus on computer science. We still do programming, and we handle in specific situations and stuff like that. We still had to make uh, a Vulkan like rendering engine, graphics, kind of like game engine ish style with C++, and we still had to. We could. I made a DirectX 11 one focus with C++. So we focus on C++, C Sharp, and yada yada yada. But this is kind of like my so far personal experience as a overall modern day language cooked cooked game developer. Um, I do consider myself lucky to be living currently in parents' basement for free. It's very spacious around here, as you could probably tell. Most of the stuff behind me obviously isn't mine. My dad's trying to do his whole back cave type thing, so it's interesting living down here. Um, Definitely very cold where I live, as you can tell. But I'm wearing this very cool hell of a boss, hoodie, downtown hoodie, by the way. Not advertising them, but um, you know, it's interesting, and I know that I'm privileged living here rent free right now. I am currently 21 years old. I did actually graduate when I was 20 years old, so I was in like one of those, like, I guess you could say, like kind of like fast paced colleges. And it was called Full Sail University, so that was down in Florida. I am not in Florida because last time I checked, most Florida houses don't have basements. I'm more northeast upstate, uh, so it's actually cold here. I think it's probably like maybe 38 degrees right now, so pretty cold. But getting that out of the way, I'm pretty privileged, and I do understand that most people are probably maybe older than me, still in college, getting their computer science degree or game development or something programming related. It could be cybersecurity or something cool like that. But um, I understand that most of you who are maybe watching this, I don't think anybody really is, but if you are, hello. Most of you are probably going to be in college or maybe out of college, or you might be 40 years old and you're a millionaire and you're like, "Oh, I've already completed my degrees, and why am I here watching this kid? He's 21 years old, he's a lot younger than me, probably has a lot less experience, um, kind of stuff like that." And, during my years at college, if you don't know, but Full Sail University, it's a year and 8 months. Mine was a year and 9 months because I had to retake one math class. Kind of funny that I had to take a math class as like basically a computer science person, and a little bit of background on me actually before we get into all that. I'm sorry this video is all over the place. It's kind of like a raw, uncut video, but you know, um, I have been programming ever since I was 13 years old. It kind of became like a passion thing, and I don't know if most of you people know. Hopefully, you probably have heard of this thing called Roblox. I originally was playing that game a lot as a kid, and that was actually the main reason I ever got interested in programming, was because of Roblox. I started watching this YouTuber's named like Alvin Blocks, and like I watched his very basic tutorials, and I started from there. Kind of just kept rolling and rolling, and I kept getting better and more interested. And by the time I was 18, out of college after the big V, um, I wanted to go to college with a focus more over in games and programming because I liked video games. I'm like, hey, I want to create this experience for everyone. That experience I felt as a kid and how awesome games were and fun they were, right? So that's a little bit of experience with me. A little bit background more than experience. But yeah, graduated 20 years old with a bachelor's in game development, and I'm cooked, man. And I'm saying I'm cooked, even though I do have like a contracting job. That's kind of like commission based, you could say. It's a contracting that's commission pay based, and you know, I like to say to myself that I am still cooked because $2,500 basically a month. It depends on when we complete the projects and stuff. It's not really livable, really anywhere. Uh, the main reason I'm saying that is because it is, like a year past my graduation, and since it is one of those schools where you do mainly have to take out private student loans, I'm kind of cooked because of that. A lot of money a month, man. I tell you what, it's up there. And I do understand. I am a younger adult, and it kind of was my decision. And I did ask my parents for help in figuring stuff out, and they gave me ideas, pointers, and what they thought I should do. And I do acknowledge that it was my own fault for choosing the not so optimal route money wise. I'm a very money person. I'm like, hey, I gotta save money here, save money there, and do this and that, right? I still enjoy the creature comforts, fast food, and stuff occasionally. You could also probably see the Finance at Freddy's, Fantas, and stuff like that. Little cool things. uh, but I definitely just feel cooked, man. I started to feel how terribly cooked I was. Like, how terrible it was going to be for me finding a job. Uh, was when I was halfway through my degree, like 6 months in, basically, like 6 or 8 months in, I think. I started to look for internships, and it's like this whole degree is a sped up degree and it's legit, and things like that. And I looked for internships and stuff like that, but all the super high end ones, even for like game dev, things relating to that, like maybe Roblox's software engineering, or um, like I think it's Riot Games and higher end companies like that. Their internships always required, like maybe a year after I've graduated, like a year after I would have graduated, that I would still need to be in college or this and that. And I'm like, that's not really fair for someone like me who's doing the sped up degree and stuff. But that wasn't the thing that I felt cooked on. I felt cooked because it, no matter it's you've probably seen this a bunch, right? It's the whole let's go on LinkedIn. Let's spam this and this company, or all these other job posting sites, Glassdoor, Indeed, and stuff. Just spam post resumes, right? Because you're young, or I'm young, and at the time of that, and I was applying like crazy because I wanted to get that internship under my belt. I didn't want to be internshipless, and I know that I was cooked because, like, even after roughly, I can't remember the count because it's just one of those things that you just kept sending out applications on. Um, I would say personally around over 100 applications I sent out in months. I just basically got nowhere. Like, and when I mean nowhere. I got ghosted. I got we went with someone who's better qualified, and the basic responses, for rejections. And it's definitely disheartening at first, but it's funny to say that I toughened up and I got used to it. But at that point I noticed I was getting cooked, and then I see a lot of other people on YouTube at the time Maybe you've seen this day in the life of Amazon software engineer, day in the life as a Riot intern, day in the life as a Roblox software engineering intern, and those day in the lives, right? And I started seeing those, and I'm like, that could have been me, right? Why aren't they accepting me? I feel like I'm better than these people. Obviously, I have an ego just like everybody else. And when I was early on in my degree, I felt like I was a lot better than most people. And there was only one other person in my degree, in like the class of 20 or whatever at the time, who actually came to get that degree just because, right? I was doing that just because I wanted to show companies that I can get this degree in a short amount of time and that I can, provide value and interest to the company because I've already had many years of personal experience, right? So there was only one other guy in the class who was kind of like that with me. He was from a different country, and he was really, like, I would say, like, I would have thought he already had like 8 years of professional experience, but he grew up in like a truly professional environment where he was given every opportunity instead of it just being personal. He was, doing every professional opportunity he could. He was on a Unity team. He was doing this, and he was doing above and beyond. And I was just like kind of jealous of him. I'm like, I'm kind of like the same level as this guy at some point. And why is he and some of these other people who I've never even met from the college getting a degree, or not degree, getting an internship with Epic Games and all this other stuff, and I'm over here struggling with a lot of years of personal experience. And in that moment, I felt cooked. And I did go to like my counselors and all this stuff to get help with my resumes because obviously I had zero resume experience other than being like, hey, I worked as a Domino's delivery driver. Ho ho ho. But they gave us templates and all that stuff, and the templates they gave us, I'm being very honest, were terrible. They obviously did start to fix them and help all of us out a lot more, like closer to the end of my degree, which kind of sucks. But I even used my college's career board or job board, whatever you want to call it, and it took, and I'm not joking, it took around, I would say, another year of constantly trying and applying to jobs to get one internship. It was the only like actual job that I applied, got a reply back, and said they want to interview me. So actually, it was technically my first ever interview as well. And I do understand that that means that I did have a lot of qualifications that a lot of companies may have not wanted, and I understand that. And I'm like, damn, that sucks. It happens, right? But we all got to start somewhere. So I started with that internship, passed that interview, and everything did well. Honestly, I think it was like the easiest interview I've ever seen, but that's me. And yeah, so I kind of went from there. Did that one internship for 2 months, and by the end of the 2 months, I graduated. So I was actually way out of state, Florida. I went to Colorado Springs and uh, lived there for the internship for 2 months, and then came back down to Florida to finish up my last month in the apartment that I was staying down in Florida. Because the way that Full Sail works at the time is that we have to, they don't have dorms and stuff, so I had to get an apartment down there. So more money. Uh, yeah, so I mean, I felt really cooked. I asked the internship people there and stuff, and they said, hey, I know we're kind of like a contracting company as well, and government contracting, and once we get this contract, and hopefully we'll get more positions, and we'll fill it, and we'll contact you. Me being young and hopeful, not really young and hopeful, just being, more of a hopeful that by the time I would get back to upstate Northeast, that they'd be contacting me saying, hey, we've got this contract and we want you to join our team. Because I'm like, you know, they said that I did really well and that they enjoyed it and that, if they ever had the opportunity to bring me back, they would. Now, I do understand that some people lie and stuff, and that they just say that to say that, and there could always be someone better who comes along, and I understand it, and I don't blame them. So I mean, at that point, I felt really cooked because then when I came back upstate, I had to work a minimum wage job to start saving up money to start paying off my debt when the grace period would end, because golly, the amount of money per month is crazy. But then I saw this thing called the Disney College Program, and like I was like, oh, that's cool. It seems kind of like an internship with Disney. Lo and behold, it really isn't. It's just it's a funny way to put it. Just another way to get people to work minimum wage full time. And I was like, oh, I kind of understood that, so I went with my best friends in college and stuff. We went there to do that because we both already graduated and we wanted to get a job. And if it was possible for us to get a job in Disney through that college program, we would take it, right? And I was trying my best too, and I tried to go to everything I could there for the Disney college program and then try and make the most of it, maybe make some connections and try to throw myself out there, being like, hey, is it possible for me to get an internship internally relating to software development or software engineering, because I'm going to the college program. So, it didn't work out, so I had to go back up northeast again, live in my parents' basement this time, and yeah, here we are. Uh, I applied on my job board a couple of times on my college, and it was this one company, like one of those like small startup companies that's hiring, looking for people to help with VR and AR and things like that for government contracting type stuff. And applied, went back down to Florida because they were only doing in-person interviews then, and hoped for the best, and made a demo project, sent it, and got paid for that, and got brought onto the team as a contractor. So here we are today, and you know I may not be as cooked as some other people who might even be watching this video, but personally, I think I'm pretty darn cooked. I've applied to all these other jobs and some internships occasionally, but I'm just not getting much back. And I do understand that it could be the economy and all this, and I'm not trying to blame that. I don't want to, because I want to just blame it on myself, being like, hey, it truly is just a personal skill issue that you're not showing enough on my portfolio site. I'm not showing enough on my resume. It's not optimized and this and this. And like I've double checked everything, and even one of these newer companies that I applied to and kind of did an interview with, like a founding engineer for VR and stuff. And I'm hoping when they get back to me is probably going to be rejection, which sucks, but I'm kind of expecting it at this point, or not really expecting much. I'm going to ask him and say like, hey, what's the reason why you picked them over me, or what's something that I can improve? Because the way that I look at this stuff is, even though it sucks major ass and stuff like that, I'm trying to make each experience like a learning experience, right? I'm trying to learn from it, and everyone does that, right? At least I think everyone does. I know I do, and I like doing that. I like throwing myself into these fires, I like to call them, and doing things that I've never done before. Like my focus was game development, and for my internship, I threw myself into the fire of doing VR and XR and MR development. I've never touched that before. I don't even know the first thing about it. And I learned how to do that in like a couple weeks with the Microsoft HoloLens too, before that went out of production, sadly. But it's like, personally, I enjoy programming. I enjoy game development, but I've been doing it for so long, and not like super long as a lot of older people, maybe some people who are watching this, maybe, but I've been doing this for so long, and I've grown a love for it, that it's like, I just feel like I'm in one of those like burnout stages, that I've been doing this for so long that I really just want to take a long break and come back to it, reinvigorate it, and have that energy and stuff again that I like had when I first started, so there's definitely that. And like, I've had these little tangents and stuff that are going to keep going on here, but I've had like small successes, online wise. I've had small success of a YouTube channel. Like my most viewed video on a YouTube channel was like over 300,000 views. And that was a video that actually helped me to get monetized. Now, I didn't earn much money because I got monetized way later into the view count. So I did earn a couple hundred instead of the couple thousand from that video. And I got it. And even the cooler thing is, during college, I made this small project on Roblox because I started on Roblox to make a bunch of self made projects on Roblox, and I made this project on Roblox called Buckshot Wildcard. It was meant to be Buckshot Roulette because Buckshot Roulette came out around that time when I started it, but multiplayer because everyone wanted multiplayer, right? They want to shoot friends and enjoy it and have fun. So I made that on Roblox, and I made a YouTube like devlog video to go along with it, and it did kind of well. It was my first ever success on a Roblox game too. I averaged around like 180,000 daily active users. And I was like, holy moly! I made this in a week time frame during college, basically 40-hour work week days of college of tests and projects and blah blah blah. And I made this, and I made money. It was my first ever taste of actual money from Roblox as well. Granted, I didn't monetize the game well or at all, so I was only getting paid off like visits and whatever. But we're not here to go into that. We can go into another video if you guys really want. Um, but I've had a very small taste as a successful developer for Roblox and very small taste as a successful YouTuber. And it's definitely like saddening that I kind of like just lost these motivations. And don't get me wrong, I 1000% understand that you don't always need motivation to keep going through with this stuff, and that you just gotta push through. And I understand that, right? I'm working out like at least 5 days a week now. It's something I've never done before. And I'm going to be on week 7 next week for me. And, being a decently out of shape guy is a huge commitment. And there's not really much motivation to it on the early stages of working out. But once you just start building up that habit to keep going and going, you get that motivation, right? So it's like I completely understand that you don't need motivation, and it's just you got to build that habit to keep doing it. And I understand that, right? And that's what I'm trying to do with these types of videos as well. It's not only to showcase like, hey, what my life is like. Maybe I'll do more vlogs where I'm driving in a car talking to you guys, or showing you guys my life or something. I mean, my life, let's be honest, it's not interesting. At least I don't think it is. Like, it's literally sitting here at this computer, typing on my keyboard, my mouse, looking at my three monitors, by the way, and maybe talking to you guys occasionally. I mean, it's like, it just, I feel cooked. I do. And, I'm not going to worry about motivation anymore. I'm just going to do it to do it, because I love doing it. I'm going to stop giving myself these terrible excuses that, hey, you shouldn't do this because you're not motivated. No. A prime example is me doing this gym stuff, going to the gym every week. It's not motivation, it's habit. Like building a habit to sleep on time. Not the best at that, I admit, right now, but it's habit. At first when I was programming, I fell in love with it because it was a habit. It was a habit that I went on every week and had that fun of making stuff and figuring stuff out, and that's why I love programming. So, yeah, hopefully that shined a light on how cooked I feel I am as a graduate. And here's my little supportive message. Just keep trying, just keep going, keep doing it. Make it like your daily motivation or your daily goal, just to keep applying to these jobs or to make this small project. It doesn't matter how small it is, just do it, You gotta just make it a habit. It's gonna suck. Yeah, there's no way around it. Everything sucks. Just try and make it a habit. And if maybe you're someone here who's watching who's first year of college student for computer science or game development or simula- simulation visualization or something like that, it doesn't even matter what degree. This is my experience, and I would say it's never too late to start. It truly isn't. Just do it, man. If you love it, just do it. Do it for the love of it, man. There's gonna be a ton of ups and downs, and there's nothing you can do about it other than just deal with it and go through with it, man. So, yeah, my message here is just do it, man. It might suck, but hey, you can do it. And I believe in you, man. Or girl, or woman, or whatever you want to be called. I believe in you, man. Because I believed in myself. And even though I feel like I'm cooked, I'm still here, aren't I? Still making progress every day. So, yeah. Hopefully, I'll see you guys next time.